If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take your dome. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Today is Friday. You know what that means. Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Today, this podcast is dedicated to the lives of Antonio Inoki, former WWE champion, former Hall of Famer in WWE, and the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also, Sarah Lee, who passed away today, age of 30, former Tough Enough winner last season. And of course, to Percy Lapid, defend press freedom po tayo. Broadcaster, a veteran broadcaster who was gunned in Las Piñas last Monday. It's hard. Kasi it's a traditional on the show. Akala ko, isa lang yung gagawa natin ng tribute. But, we have to do 3. So, for the next few minutes, we're going to have a 10-bell salute. Then afterwards, we're going to black. And after of which, we're gonna go to our first commercial break.
Picture this. 2 guys talking about true crime,
Weird mysteries,
horror stories,
but the conversation is light.
and mostly funny.
and sometimes naughty.
This is
A
Cripsalog.
Spotify exclusive.
I'm Gideon.
And I'm Glenn, and we're serving huge portions of horror and true crime twice a week.
We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied.
And you'll be begging for more.
Char.
Check us out.
This is Cripsalog, available exclusively on Spotify.
Bakit mabaho ang utol?
Lulubog na ba ang Pilipinas?
Mahihain ba ang makaya?
Bakit bumabagyo sa Pinas?
Mga katanungang bumabagabag sa kaisipan ni Juan, halika, bigyan natin ng mga scientificong kasagutan. Ito ang inyong gurong lakan mula sa Bulacan, Sir Red. At ito ang Hainay na Tagham, the Podcast Year 2, Pakinggan sa lahat ng major podcast streaming platforms. Tara, matuto, magsaliksik, magkaroon ng dagdag na kaalaman. Haynayan, magpakailanman.
Ayan. So, thank you for joining me in behalf of Bang Collective for that tribute to our friends and of course to our wrestlers or tama ba? Wrestlers nga kasi wrestlers and of course one of my favorite broadcaster in Percy Lapid who got gone in Las Piñas. So, I hope their souls will be into heaven and may them rest in peace. And so today's episode of the podcast, kung nagtataka kayo ba't wala yung club chopper ko? Kasi aside from that tribute, wala ako sa mood gawin yun. Potya. There's sunod-sunod yung mga nangyari. Medyo we have to kailangan muna natin huminga. Pucha na tatawa ako bigla. Okay. So, let's start with the major updates that we got earlier before we start this episode. So, we got a commentary changes in WWE. So, starting tomorrow on SmackDown, we're going to have a new set of commentators on WWE. So, on Raw, we got Kevin Kelly and Corey Graves. Corey Graves will remain as color commentator and Kevin Kelly will become the play-by-play. On SmackDown, we got Michael Cole staying as the play-by-play and Wade Barrett will be elevated from NXT as the color commentator. On NXT, we got Big Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T as a color commentator. Big Joseph, of course, who will do the play-by-play. Then, here's some changes as well. So, Cathy Kelly is back in the Federation on Raw, which is great. Byron Saxton got demoted as Raw correspondent or interviewer. Kung sino man yung nakikita nyo backstage na nag-i-interview. So, and then, Kayla Braxton, Megan Morant staying on their positions on SmackDown, Mackenzie Mitchell, and Alicia Taylor staying on NXT. Premium live events. So, starting this Sunday at Extreme Rules, we're going to hear Michael Cole and Corey Graves bunking up each other, man. I don't want to hear these people. I have respect for Michael Cole. Corey Graves, however. Ay, tanga. Sorry. Alam mo, I don't hate this guy. Sadyang, it makes me irritated when I hear Corey Graves on the commentary. I know it's work. I know if we hate the commentators doing like that, it works on them. Pero putangin na, putting only Corey Graves on the commentary makes me sick. Parang it's kinda irritating to my ears na solo niya lang yung commentary. Like, what? Solo niya lang? Solo niya lang at saka si Michael Cole. Michael Cole is the play-by-play here. Pat McAfee will return to the company after his commitments doon sa college football by ESPN. We don't know yet kung saan. Kasi he's on SmackDown before he left. And then probably he will stay on SmackDown. I'm not sure. Then Jimmy Smith is done with WWE as reported on Fightful, confirmed by himself that is leaving the company and is thinking of the company guys, of the fans, the universe, of course. And that was the major changes on the commentary side of WWE. So, konting thoughts about that. I'm okay with Kevin Kelly. Hey, Kevin Kelly. What was Kevin Patrick, man? Ba't nagkamali yung notes natin, putya? It's Kevin Pac. Kevin Patrick, pare. I was saying Kevin Kelly all the time. I was reminding myself about Kevin Kelly. It's Kevin Patrick, you fucking morons. Ayun, so Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves on Raw. I'm glad that Kevin Patrick's now promoted from main event to Raw. Hindi naman ako umay sa kanya, okay? So, ito yung factor na magpapabago sa tenga ko once I hear the commentary. Corey Graves, in the other hand, that's a different story. On SmackDown, Michael Cole, I'm good with Michael Cole. I don't have problems with him. Wala akong problema sa komentary niya. Siya yung pinaka-active na pinakamatanda on the commentary side. Hindi pa naman siya utal-utal kagaya ni Jim Ross ng AEW. Jim Ross, buti na lang, limited yung schedule mo. Si Wade Barrett, sana lang hindi sa SmackDown mapunta yung Toxic Attraction. Kasi sobrang irritated ako on him with Toxic Attraction, and that's that promotion maybe can enough para mawala na yung oh my factor for me on NXT. So NXT, Big Joseph is staying on NXT. Booker T is on NXT now, and that's a pretty boom moment if Roxanne will be crowned NXT Women's Champion by the end of the year, or maybe this year. Mali mo. And the nice note here, before we go to our next topic, Kati Kelly is back. Wow. How? We don't know yet. We're going to talk about that once Kati Kelly appeared again on TV. But for now, that's our thoughts. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. So, wala naman tayong problema. So, let's start with the major news. So, ulitin lang natin yung nangyari kanina sa tribute. So, Antonio Inoki, former WWE champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling, passed away last Friday in the US. So, at the age of 79, he passed away. Hindi naman dinetermine yung details. Basta ang kinonfirm sa atin is Yahoo Japan was the one who broke the news that he passed away. There's a lot of details about it. I don't want to say it pa kasi hahaba lang ng hahaba. Pero notable doon, namatay siya dahil sa sakit. Yun. Okay? And he's old na. So, si Antonio Inoki, if you know, is a politician, a wrestler, an MMA fighter as well, a founder, of course, sa New Japan. And marami din siya nagawa sa Japan itself when it comes to politics. So we're not going to elaborate them all. Pero, ang gumalantang sa akin, in earlier morning, so Sarah Lee, former Top and Half winner, passed away as well. Earlier, at the age of 30, this is so fucking sad. And I feel sad for that. So, condolences to the families of Antonio Inoki and Sarah Lee for that. Medyo napipigil ako. Kutya, sakit ng ano. Napipigil ako. Seryoso. Okay, so let's continue with major news here. Let's start with AEW. So, Andrade and Sammy Guevara got a altercation before Dynamite. A few hours before Dynamite, actually. So, ito yung news from TMZ na di ba nagkaroon ng isang interview si Andrade in Spanish. Then, Sammy Guevara respond in a tweet na you got a job, very grateful, bitch. And I think that's, I think, nung una, wala akong kaalam-alam na he was referring to Andrade na pala. about that tweet. Kasi yung ano is Spanish di mo maintindihan talaga nung una. Buti may nag-translate about it. So, not going to transcribe that for you. You can check it out anyways. Then, after of that, parang nag-tweet pa si Andrade na he wants to leave the company. He doesn't care if ma-fire pa siya ng AEW. And, ayun. Yan na yun. Yan yung important detail sa forum. And parang binabantaan niya talaga si Sammy. And si Sammy respond na go back to WWE since yun naman talaga yung gusto mo in the first place. Then, ayun na nga, nagkasapakan daw backstage before Dynamite and TMZ confirmed just an hour before Dynamite. And yun na nga, ang nangyari kasi ito, per Dave Meltzer, open quote, it's Dave Meltzer. Sabi niya, nag-umpisa yung away sa backstage when Andrade sucker punch Sammy Guevara. So, hindi bumawi si Sammy. So, that's why si Andrade lang yung pinauwi. Si Sammy hindi. Sa akin, medyo unfair yun. Kasi, parehas kayong nag-away, tas isa lang yung papauwiin mo. Para kang bata na ikaw na yung troublemaker, ikaw pa yung masama. Parehas lang. Actually, dapat parehas lang silang pinauwi. Masyadong bias to. Ewan ko, medyo masyadong bias sa akin na mainit ulo nyo parehas and we go away hit si Sammy. Tapos, pinag-compete pa siya. Siya pa yung nag-pin. Final pin about the match. And it's kinda pisses me off about it. Parang, it's a little bit disrespectful kumpara doon sa inaasahan natin. Ako, inaasahan ko, magiging professional pa yung dalawa. Pero, hindi. It's an opposite. And I feel bad for both of them. At the same time, Andrade deserved that. And Sammy, the same time, deserved that. I hope lang. Alam niyo ba ang pinagmulan ng away ng dalawa? Masyado daw kasing stiff si Sammy. Ang ano pa doon, yung kalaban ni Sammy, yung Dynamite, was both stiffers. Parang mas stiff pa sa kanya. Ba't anong nirereklamo nitong gurang na ito? Yun ang tanong Anong nirereklamo mo? Di ba mas stiff pa nga yung kalaban niyan ni Sammy kanina? No. Tapos, nagreklamo ka pa na stiff na nga yung kalaban mo. Sasabihin mo pang mas stiff. You sila miss. Tapos, parang you give them respect. Ganyan It sounds weirder and weirder than me. Ayoko lang masyadong kasi open quote and quote. It's Dave Meltzer's. Hindi pa natin ako confirm from Fightful yung buong story about it. Pero yung malinaw is they got a altercation backstage on Dynamite. We are still waiting for details about it. So, please stay tuned for that. Okay. So, let's go to the AEW a little bit before we go to our first commercial break. So, Saraya goes physical. It's good for her. Actually, they are teasing her na she's cleared. Before that, si Britt Baker, she did a promo that Saraya is not medically cleared. And she's saying that Saraya can leave. And she's saying that AEW is her house now. So, that was good. That was great. I'm not saying best or maganda. I'm saying it's great. Sakto lang. Medyo sakto lang talaga. For me. It's great. It's great. Wala akong masabi kasi hindi naman sobrang gumalaw si Hindi naman sobrang gumalaw si Saraya dito. And it's fine for me to go physical. Pero hindi pa kasi natin sure if Saraya is cleared na. Wala pa nga tayo details about Saraya being cleared. Diba? Yun Kaya nga, antayin pa natin the next few days. Pero feeling ko papunta na tayo doon sa sasabihin ni Saraya na I am cleared. And I'm so excited for that. Then, content thoughts pa. So, Wardlow, Brian Cage match for the TNT Championship was a really good match on Dynamite Anniversary. I love the MJF Wheeler Yuta as well. Parang they're teasing a face turn for MJF, which is great. Medyo mafe-feel ko lang yung Hollywood Rock vibes on him. Kasi medyo, ang tawag dito, some portion maybe mas over kasi si Rock during the Hollywood Rock. And feeling ko, pagka nag-game babyface na si MJF, mas malala pa yon doon. Mas malala pa yung makukuha niyang praise kumpara doon sa Hollywood Rock. Tapos, ano pa ba? So, we get this scissoring day. I love how AEW celebrated this scissoring day on the acclaim. Tapos, ito na yung main event. So, I want to talk about this really quick. Wait lang. Bago yun. So, Hangman Rush was a good match, by the way. And I love the promo of John Moxley. No need to elaborate that. Then, the main event, Brian Garcia, Brian Danielson and Daniel Garcia was beaten by Jericho and Sammy. Sammy getting the pin. Then, it's kinda stupid and weird at the same time. Parang unfair. At the same time, ang weird. Kasi, unfair, maintindihan ko if Jericho got the pin. Pero parang si TK kasi, ginagawa niya, parang gusto niya na mas i-capitalize yung mga shit backstage. So that's why Sami Guevara got the pin. Tapos, ito pa, yung naiintindihan ko yung na bakit si Andrade lang yung pinauwi. Pero parang sobrang unfair niya sa akin. Sana lang, kung ganun, parehas yun na lang pinauwi. And, o kaya kung ayaw niya pauwiin parehas, sana hindi na lang si Sammy yung nag-gain ng pinfall. Kasi +1 pa na Jericho is the champion. And parang hindi siya na-acknowledge about that. Diba? So regardless, we got a pretty great episode of Dynamite. That was great. Such na for a long AW talk here. And yep. We're going to take our first commercial break. Before that, let me remind you that this podcast is a Bong Collective podcast. So if you want to support us on Bong Collective, please support us and visit our social media at the Bong PH. And of course, visit our website, thebongph.com. We're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do a recap on WWE's happenings before we go to our predictions of Extreme Rules and of course Bound for Glory. For now, let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Hey everyone, this is Mo Twister, and you're listening to the Kingdom Podcast with the voice DJ Yuki.
That was the OG, Mo Twister, promoting this podcast. If you like Korean pop culture, or know someone who does, then get into it, and visit our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages at the Kingdom Pod PH.
We're proud to tell you that this is one of the premier shows to go to for your weekly dose of K-pop. So drop everything and listen to the Kingdom Podcast. Available in all your podcast streaming platforms.
Join us!
Been wanting to learn about different careers? Or just need that nudge to pursue your passion projects? Here at Project Offbeat Careers Podcast, we talk to guests with unique careers outside the usual corporate shtick. Listen to historians, gamers, teachers, and cosplayers. See how they've succeeded and how you can apply their learnings to your workplace. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And get ready to take the off-beaten path with us.
Ayun, so we're back on the podcast. So, konting follow us on social media at the MT Show Pod. Ayun, please support the podcast on the YouTube channel, of course. Please subscribe and press the bell for upcoming episodes, upcoming uploads. on YouTube. Just search the FTA Show Podcast. You can now donate and support the podcast on ganknow.com/the FTA Show Pod. As low as $1 a month. Hindi ko na i-mention kung magkano sa piso kasi pabataas yan eh. 58, 59, 58, 59. You can access to our subscriber-only content on Gank. Plus, you can join our discussions and more to come really, really soon. Of course, please support us, Bang Collective, thebangph.com. You can support us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and of course on TikTok at thebangph. Yun lang. So, let's continue with our wrestling thoughts here. Let's start with WWE. I start. Naganda na tayo ay WWE. Let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship. Tomorrow is the season premiere of SmackDown. Madami mangyayari bukas. Battle of the Belts din, but we're not going to talk about that. So, we got Extreme Rules this Sunday. But first, let's talk about some happenings on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, Raw, ay SmackDown pala muna. Tomorrow is the season premiere. And we got a title match. So, Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. I want Sheamus to win, but I don't want to see Gunther lose. Weird, di ba? Then, ano ko eh, parang yun ang perspective ko about yun ang perspective ko about the match. I don't want Gunther to lose, but I want Sheamus to become Intercontinental Champion. It's weird to see that decision. Hindi naman ano sa akin yun. Pero if Gunther wins at SmackDown, it means Brawling Brutes will win the Sunday match at Extreme Rules. If Sheamus will win the title, it definitely it's Imperium winning the match at Extreme Rules. Ganun lang yun. Pero regardless, we're gonna get banger after banger after banger after banger. That's for sure. And we have to move on sa stuff. So, Judgment Day, Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles. So, that was a match. So, Rey Mysterio was pushed by AJ Styles and he was walking out after of the match. And AJ got beaten by Judgment Day. Parang nagiging personal to. So, instead of we getting stable versus stable, we're getting Rey Mysterio versus Dominic soon. Definitely. Yan ang makukuha natin soon. And if they did, they deserve a slot for Survivor Series or maybe Crown Jewel. Okay lang sa akin. Doon din naman mag-lead yun. Plus, Lashley versus Ali for the Intercontinental United States Championship was a good match. I'm glad to see Mustafa Ali back on TV. So, it's great. It's a great comeback for him. Sana gamitin din siya regularly on the brands or the brand. So, ayun. So, over the weekend, we got a tweet from who's the motherfucker here? Ariel Herrari. I'm not sure about this name. Di ba? Tama ba? So, we got a tweet about the Fight Pit. Di ako sure sa name, no? Pero, we got a special guest referee for the Fight Pit in the name of Daniel Cormier. So, Daniel Cormier will be the special guest referee for the match this Sunday. It's Extreme Rules, the Fight Pit between Rollins and Riddle. So, I'm going to ask you guys, worth it ba na mag-close itong Fight Pit as the main event of Extreme Rules? Medyo, ang dami kasi halos lahat ng matches on the card. 6 matches, but we're going to talk about that in the third half of the show. Sobrang worth it niya as in lahat. No? Lahat halos ng matches over on the card is sobrang worth it ilagay sa main event. Even the Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey, worth it din siya doon sa main event. Kasi that's the standard na Extreme Rules should main event. Then, ayun pa. So, marami pa tayo notable quotes dito. So Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae was a pretty good, solid match. They're teasing Candice LeRae to join the Damage Control as well. Otis versus Johnny Gargano was a solid match. Braun Strowman, Chad Gable, pucha. That was a stiff match. Both of them, actually, pero solid yun. Then, the main event, Alexa Bliss versus Io Sky. It's so nice. It's always nice to see Io Sky in action. Like last week versus Bianca Belair. Now, Alexa Bliss, man. It's so nice to see Io Sky in action every week. In one-on-one actions, hindi lang umiikot-kibili yung mundo. So, it's so nice for her on that. And the match, by the way, was a pretty good match. So, NXT. Let's go to NXT. Ito. So, I'm going to give my first impressions. First, the notes. Yung notes ko actually, konti lang to. So, yung colors of NXT is na white, black, gold. And medyo may pagkakulay orange. So, wala si Tom, wala si Big Joseph on that episode. So, we got, Wade Barrett, si Byron Saxton, and Sadu Shah for the NXT episode. And Sadu Shah is fine. For at least, he's fine on the commentary. I like him better than Big Joseph, but Big Joseph's definitely older than him and definitely better than him. Pero wala kasi masyadong kalat on that episode of NXT. Kaya medyo I like the commentary of Sadu Shah. Then, tapos, ano pa ba? Yung konting thoughts ko on the branding. I love the branding. Medyo, di siya naglilin doon sa black and gold. Hindi rin siya naglilin doon sa 2.0. Parang it's an equal fusion. That like, sinabi ko na to a few weeks back na hindi ko gusto na black and gold lang siya. Hindi ko rin gusto na mag-stay siya sa black, sa colors, yung rainbow colors concept sa 2.0. Gusto ko mo pag-balance lang yung 2.0 at saka yung black and gold. Yun ang gusto kong mangyari. And they're approaching like that. They are retaining the Down South as the theme song, at least for this week. Then, still the same. The ring still the same. We got the arena from 1 year ago na set up, ganon. Then, the concept is white, yellow, with gold. White, white, yellow, black, and gold. Whatever. But still, it's impressive upgrade. And, ito, konting thoughts about the stories. So, we get Brawling Brutes in NXT. So, Brawling Brutes challenged the champions in NXT pretty deadly in a tag title match. And I could say that was a fantastic title match. And putting Imperium on the picture makes sense. Kasi since they're feuding currently on SmackDown, of course, there's gonna be a distraction on the main event. And it's kind of understandable. Because, like what I said, they're feuding. And the match, regardless on that, was great. Pretty deadly on the other hand. They're absolute clowns. At the same time, super effective heels. Or champion heels. Heel champions. And that was outstanding heel work from both members of Pretty Deadly. Next. So, in fairness, Wendy Chu is getting a winner's streak. Ano kaya yung makukuha natin after that? I hope Wendy Chu can win the title as well this year. Pero I want to see Nikita and Roxanne growing or ma-harvest mo na nila yung mga before the year ends. Then, Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark is your number one contenders for the women's tag titles. So, Alba Fire attacked Mandy Rose and kidnapped her before the title match started. So, it's a 2-on-2. Then, Nikita getting the pin getting the win for her team, which is great. It means they're slowly writing off Toxic Attraction of TV and promoting them on the main roster. Of course, they're not going to be that gimmick pa din kasi kaparehas na. Ayun, then we got the Grayson Waller effect. That was fine. So we got a match made official for Halloween Havoc, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade in a tawag dito, weapons wide match. It was made official. Medyo nauutal pa ako doon kasi yung upo ko bibigay. Ayun, that was a weapons wild match for this pay-per-view or event. That was great. And then the Grayson Waller effect though, ito yung sa tingin ko one of my favorite talk shows in WWE right now. Sobrang effective nung ano niya, execution. And also to add yung ano ba pwede kong i-add? Apollo Crews burning the eyes of Apollo of Grayson Waller puts the icing on the cake for that. I think the continuity ito yung maganda sa NXT na to. Yung continuity ng storylines ng mga nasa Black and Gold and yung 2.0 before this era is na pagtuloy-tuloy nila. And ang maganda dito, yung dalawang feud na pagsabay nila in one segment, which is great. And the continuation of the feud of Cora and Roxanne, of course, Grayson Waller and Apollo Crews, na pag-fusion nila yon into one segment, which is great for me, saving the time for me. That was great. Then, so, ito, the main event na nga. Ito na nga. So, di ko na sabihin ito, naulit ko na nga. That was great. Regardless, yung Pretty Deadly versus Brawling Brutes, I think that was absolutely one of my favorite matches in NXT this year at least. Then, last thing. So, medyo nagkaka-personalan na on the side of Creed Brothers and Diamond Camp. So, Julius Creed challenge Diamond Camp in a ambulance match for NXT Halloween Havoc. Then, yun na nga, na-made official na yung match. Tapos, eventually, doon din naman, totoo, if Diamond Camp wins, Julius Creed, and I think it's Julius or si Brutus, must leave NXT. I'm not sure about that. Then, if Diamond Camp loses, si Camp must give Brutus a rematch for their match few weeks back. So, natapos yun, no contest in favor of Diamond Camp by slamming Brutus with steel chairs a lot of times. So, yeah, that was a great NXT for me. Ayan, wag niyong papakinggan si JY. Ayan, si putang ng hayop na yun. Basta si NY, yung JD of NY, pam-pam yun. Masyado niyang inaano yung Dynamite, kinukonsente niya pa yung wrong decisions on Dynamite, which is stupid. Okay. So, konting thoughts pa, Dynamite tuloy. Yung WWE. For me lang, bago tayo magbigay ng predictions for Extreme Rules, we can say na this premium live event, Extreme Rules, is gonna be one of the well done pay-per-views this year. Para sa akin, parang ito yung isa sa mga ina-expect ko na maganda yung magiging product, magde-deliver ng maganda. And of course, given na walang bloodline dito, wow, that's a first in a while. Na we're not getting any bloodline storylines. Bakit kaya? Given na nga yun eh. Pero yun, so we're not getting bloodline stories here. But regardless, we're gonna get a banger matches on the card for sure. Pero we're not going to talk about that today on this portion. We're going to talk about that on the next half of the show. So for now, let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
I loved you then, I love you now, and I will continue loving you until I can no longer.
You took a part of me until I had nothing left.
The old me had to die so the new me could be reborn.
I didn't deserve that pain. I deserve love, just not from her.
Today, I choose myself.
I wanted to tell you, but you weren't there.
These are the stories that I wish you heard. Streaming weekly episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
So Mars, what na? Do you want to talk about everything and anything under the sun? Listen to our fellow Pinoy stories or just catch up? Big kwento?
Why not? Here at Mars What Na Podcast, everything is free-flowing, like the alcohol that we may or may not be drinking.
You've got your Kumars Michelle and
Bethany, here finding what makes us distinctly Pinoy, our similarities, our differences,
covering the topics about Pinoy experience from the motherland and abroad.
Catch us on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Kita Kits!
Okay. So, let's go to our main attraction. Let's talk about the predictions for Extreme Rules Premium Live Event and Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Let's start with Bound for Glory. Sige. Eto. Bound for Glory will take place tomorrow as well. Kasabay na SmackDown. So, Raven will be inducted to the Impact Hall of Fame. Deserve. For me, one of the top guys during the TNA days. He deserves the induction for sure. So, Brian Myers. Let's start the Bound for Glory card. Brian Myers has an open challenge for the title. And I'm not expecting Brian Myers to win this one. I don't know why. I don't expecting him to win the title and retaining the title. Hindi ako masyado nag-expect. But regardless, gonna be a pretty match. Good match. Then, ito. Call your shot. So, we got a call your shot again this year at Bound for Glory. So far as today's recording, we have, I'm not sure how to count this, 6, 11. So, it's PCO, Rich One, Giselle Shaw, Heat, si Gujar, whatever kung ano pangalan mo, di ko mabasa ng ayos. Bobby Fish, si Steve Macklin, Moose, Sammy Callihan, Joe Hendry, and many more will be announced on TV on Impact if you were watching Impact there. Yun. So far, I want kinda, di mananalo dito si Moose. I want Steve Macklin to win. Ayun. May feel ako that I want Steve Macklin to win this match. Bobby Fish definitely not going to win this match. Sami Callihan definitely is not going to win this match. I don't know. But yeah. Ayun, Steve Macklin, nearest choice. Then, we got Chelsea Green and Diona Purrazzo versus Jessica and Taya Valkyrie for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles. This is an easy choice. I want Diona and Chelsea to retain. yun lang for me. Then, we got Mia Yim versus Mickey James. Of course, this is a career-threatening match. This is part of the Mickey James Last Rodeo tour. And Mia Yim is going out of Impact. So, I'm not expecting Mia Yim to beat Mickey James. So, it's gonna be Mickey James. Then, Mike Bailey versus Frankie Kazarian for the X Division Championship. I'm not expecting Hindi ako nag-expect that Frankie Kazarian will win. That I am hoping a banger match for sure between Bailey and Kazarian. And it was great, okay? Also, given na yun, it's Mike Bailey. Then, Mike Taven and Mike Bennett. Honor No More versus Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact Tag Team titles. So, I'm not sure kung i-root ko ba ang Motor City Machine Guns kasi I'm still hoping for a Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR. Kasi di pa naman tapos yung business nila over on AEW. So, I hope Motor City Machine Guns will win. Pero di ako magko-complain if Honor No More wins this one. Then, Jordan Grace versus Masa Slamovic. Tama ba? Tama ba pagkasabi ko? So, Masha Slamovic. Whatever. For the Impact World Women's Championship. I'm not expecting Masha win here. So, it's gonna be Jordan. Jordan Grace. Then, over the main event for the Impact title, I don't want to see this match ever again. Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards for the Impact World Championship. It's an obvious choice. Josh A definitely will win here, but I'm not expecting a Honor No More no belts here. So I think if Honor No More loses at Bound for Glory, definitely Eddie Edwards will win here. Basta opposite siya sa akin. Kasi opposite yun nangyari last year. So I'm going to do the opposite this year. So Josh A. If Josh A wins, Honor No More loses. If MC Motor City Machine Gun wins, it means Eddie Edwards would win. Ganun lang yan. Pero I want Josh to retain just to prove himself more as the main guy of Impact Wrestling. Hindi naman gaano kawalan yun for Eddie Edwards if he loses. And di naman sobrang kawalan yun sa Honor No More. So yeah, it's gonna be regardless a pretty good match for the two of them. So si Masha Slamovic, hindi ko ma-justify kung bakit she deserves to win. Number one, she's new. Number two, she got 2-3 matches before she got a title shot. And beating someone in a monster ball doesn't make her a legitimate opponent for Jordan Grace. So I'm gonna give Jordan Grace the upper hand here for their title match tomorrow at Bound for Glory. So let me know your predictions for Impact Bound for Glory. We're going to do a review as well tomorrow next week for our next episode of the podcast. So let's go on to Extreme Rules Premium Live event. Will take place Sunday naman. Let's start with the Brawly Brutes versus Imperium match in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Like what I said earlier in the second half, if Sheamus wins the title tomorrow, it's gonna be Imperium winning at Extreme Rules. If Brawling Brutes wins on Extreme Rules, maybe it means Gunther retains on SmackDown. But regardless, I'm gonna choose Brawling Brutes kasi they need the win here. Sobrang over na sa crowd. Bawi na din from the match at Clash at the Castle as a group. And that match on SmackDown. So, I'm expecting Brawl Brutes will get the win here. Then, Edge versus Speed Balor in an I Quit match. Edge, meron na siyang limited schedule as far as I know. And parang hindi siya legitimate sa akin to see Edge not quitting. So definitely, hindi rin naman malinaw kung si Finn ang mag-quit. So definitely, it's a Edge lose here. Edge win is not eligible here. So, Finn Balor. Para sa akin lang, parang mas eligible yung Finn Balor winning. Number one, because of the distractions. Number two, mas hindi limited yung schedule ni Balor, and they need to capitalize that on this match. Number three, Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Hindi ako umay sa title run ni Bianca, don't get me wrong. But it's time for change now. We want new champion now. In the name of Bailey, I think she will be a legitimate champion and all belts. Then we can get the damage control all belts after Extreme Rules. So Bailey win here will be great, but Bianca Belair is fine without that. So it's gonna be good regardless. And yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Cross in a strap match. Drew just lost this title match versus Roman. This is Cross's first premium live event. It's kinda a win to lose decision or lose win to win. Pero mas naglilin ako kay Drew kasi it's his revenge. And the end of the day, he's the biggest guy in the company beside Roman Reigns. So I'm expecting Drew McIntyre win here. Then, Fight Pit. Fight Pit match. Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee. Riddle and Seth Rollins. I'm expecting a Riddle win rather than a Seth win here. Oh, totoo to. I'm expecting a Riddle win over a Seth win here. But na-expect ko din na makaka-apekto si DC with the final decision in this match. At regardless, it's gonna be a pretty good match for sure. And also this match to add is the advertised main event so far by saying the second to the last. But regardless, yeah. Then, our last prediction for this premium live event, double action, Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey in a Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is their third encounter. First match, it's not a clean win by Liv since it was a cash-in. Second match was a controversial ending. Si Liv tapping out while beating Ronda Rousey. Third match, hindi dehado si Liv. At least, hindi siya dehado. Yung booking niya, hindi siya mukhang dehado eh. Kaya maganda yung booking ito sa akin. It's fair game. But medyo maglilin tayo maglilin tayo ng konti kay Liv. Kasi Liv is proving herself. Ronda, it's nothing to lose para sa akin. So, we're going to lean on Liv Morgan here on this match. Okay? So let me know your predictions for this Sunday's Extreme Rules as well as Bound for Glory this Saturday tomorrow on the social media platforms of the MTG Show podcast. As we go and get the fuck out of here, let's do our picks of the week. So picks of the week last week was Jericho, then Liv for the women, and the match of the week was Bianca Belair and Io Sky. We're going to release the picks of the week Sunday kasi walang Monday na premium live event. So we're going to release the picks by Sunday. So yeah, that's it for our episode on this week's episode of the podcast. Follow us on all of the socials at the MTA Show Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and on TikTok at the MTA Show Pod. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Just search the MTA Show Pod. Don't forget to press the notification bell para ma-notify kayo on the upcoming episodes of the podcast. You can now donate and support the podcast on ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. As low as $1 a month, you can access to our subscriber-only content on the platform. Plus, you can join our discussions and more to come really, really soon. You can pay as well by GCash on Gank. So it's very easy to support the podcast in the process. So yeah, ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. Then for more podcasts, please visit thebunkph.com. You can support us on social media at thebunkph. There's a lot of the new members of Bang Collective that you should follow. Of course, ayan, please support us on Bang Collective as a whole, Bang Collective, thebangph.com. Of course, this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and the rest of the podcast platforms and on the podcast app. And this podcast is under the Bang Collective picture. So if you want to support us again, thebangph.com, and follow us on social media at thebangph. Support us on social media at MTA Show Pod and yung Twitter, Instagram ko, AJ Pinera. linktr.ee/the MTA Show Podcast for more related podcast links on our platform. And support Philippine Wrestling, support MWF for their upcoming tapings on October 16 at Brawl Pit Palooza. And as far as I know, they released the main event for the upcoming tapings. It's PWOGs versus Fabio Makisig and CJ Serapin. Then, ayun, please support MWF as well on ganknow.com/manilawrestling.com. Ganknow.com/ ganyan, wait lang. ganknow.com/manilawrestlingfed. O yan, tama. Of course, FPW as well, yung kanilang parating na unfinished business. I hope you all can follow that. Support Philippine Wrestling. And please support and congratulations nga pala sa World Underground Wrestling for their recent event noong October 2 sa Brawl Pit for their Invasion event. It's gonna be a good event for sure. And everyone will watch that show once it's released. So, on behalf of DJ Yuki of the Kingdom Podcast, in behalf of everyone here in the Bang Collective, I want to say thank you for love and support here on the Bang Podcast. And the only wrestling podcast here on Bang Collective. This is the MTA Show Podcast in cooperation with Bang Collective. See you on the next episode when we're going to do a podcast review of Bound for Glory 2022 and Extreme Rules 2022. See you on the next episode. Stay safe and stay wrestle. We're out.